Hey everybody, this is my Angelicus loach or Botia, and I came in the room and it was darting and dashing around with one of my skunk loaches. And of course, by the time I get my camera out and the lights turned out so there's no glare on the tank and everything, all the interesting activity has sort of died down. But they are still sort of playing cat and mouse with each other. You can see the skunk loach sort of darting and dashing in and out of the rocks occasionally. And I'm hoping, even with me standing here talking about them, I'll get them out there active and chasing each other around again. It was really interesting activity. I do see the loaches sort of hover around other fish, and it almost looks like they're harassing them or possibly attempting to groom them, you know, the way like a cleaner fish might do. But when they dart and dash around with each other, it's something different. I'm not sure if it's, I'm reluctant to use the word playful, but that's the only word that's really coming to mind. See, there's the skunk loach sticking its little head out right now, and hopefully we'll get to see some interesting interaction now. But in general, loaches are just such awesome little fish. I really, really like my loaches. I've got a lot of them in several tanks, and some of them get big. A few of them are aggressive, but there's plenty of them out there that stay fairly small that you could probably even get away with maybe a 10-gallon tank, but definitely a 20. I've got 5 zebra loaches in my 29-gallon tank, and they've been in there for years and years. They didn't get too big, and this Angelicus loach is actually smaller than those zebra loaches. So this one could probably get away with being in a 10-gallon tank. And once upon a time, I had 4 or 5 of these, and I don't know what happened, but something wiped all of them out except for one. And I've never seen them again. PetSmart used to carry them years ago, and I always sort of thought about replacing them and adding a few more to the tank. There we go. That's the activity I was hoping to see. A little bit of chasing each other around. Not quite what I was looking for, but it's something. But I never did get around to replacing them. And so this one has been in a tank more or less by itself from a species point of view, but it's always interacted with the skunk loaches without any real issue. I used to have 8 skunk loaches in here too, but over the years they've died off too, and I'm down to, I believe, 3 of them are still in here. But that's been 6 or 7 years. I got them very early on when I first set this tank up. And so I've never really felt a need to replace them in order to keep this fish happy. There are some fish that I really, I don't worry about necessarily keeping in a group. Cories are one of them. A lot of people say cories are fish that need to be kept in groups. Cories can be kept in groups, but in my experience, cories that are kept singularly behave normally, and there's no change in their behavior really. Even fish like the skirt tetras, neons, I've never really noticed any kind of change in their behavior when they're kept singularly. You might get a little more aggression than usual, or you might get a little bit of fin nipping or something like that, but it would almost be unnoticeable. The loaches, however, in my experience, really do need to be kept in some company. They get very reclusive, and almost, again, I really hate, using human emotions and human labels on the fish, but the only word that comes to mind is dejected. When I've kept them singularly, when I first started keeping fish, my zebra loaches here, let's see if we can see a few of these. These are still pretty skittish, and me pointing the camera at them and my voice booming a little bit tends to send them scurrying into the rocks. But when I first got these, I had one of them, and I never saw it. It just hid constantly. And it was the same with my cubitai, or the angelicus that we were just looking at. I only had one of those, and it hid all the time. And I eventually was told, like, you really need to get more than one in there, and they will change their behavior completely. And so it was my very first online, and in fact, to this date, it's been my very only online through the mail fish purchase. I ordered more of these zebra loaches, or striated botias, striped botias, and within minutes, and I'm not kidding, within minutes of introducing the new fish to the tank, the existing one I had in there was out and about, and they were swimming around and doing their little loachy thing right there where they're all chasing each other around and acting playful and everything. I've always said of my clown loaches, the clown loaches probably don't get their name from their bright black and orange coloration. The clown loaches get their name more from their behavior than they do their coloration, I think. They are a very playful fish, and you could, again, I don't really like using the human terminology on them, but you could almost say they like to clown around. They really do. They are very playful, fun fish to watch. And as I'm saying, in my experience, all the loaches are just fun, playful fish. That's one of those fish that I've got quite a few of them in several of my tanks. My other tank that has a bunch of the clown loaches in it that are much larger than the ones we've been looking at, the lights are already out, so we're not going to get to see them. And I'll actually wrap this video up with the last little look at my Hillstream loach, which is not technically a loach. It is also Hong Kong pleco is another name for it. Butterfly fish is another name for it. It's got several common names, but it is not actually a loach, even though they are generally referred to as Hillstream loaches. Cool little fish, but they definitely need a specialized environment to be in. I'm really surprised the one I've got in here has survived for as long as it has, but it's a cool little fish nonetheless. Maybe we'll shoot a video talking about that one of these days. But in the meantime, thanks for watching this one. I hope you enjoyed that. It was just a quick offhand look at my loaches. We never really did get to see that behavior I was hoping to see. It was really sort of frantic, darting and dashing, almost like corkscrewing around each other, like they were dancing with each other or something. So, as usual, I will try to get anything exciting like that I see on camera, so make sure you're subscribed, and that way you won't miss that or anything else I've got coming up. So thanks for watching. Don't forget, this one here is my gourami tank. See you real soon in the next one.